I want to explain exactly what we know as we kick off a brand new week in Washington. 573 days into special counsel Bob Mueller's investigation. There's a whole lot of smoke around the president, but so far, it is a bunch of other people that have been burned. For example, there's his former attorney and fixer, Michael Cohen, who is scheduled to be sentenced this Wednesday. Mueller says the president directed Cohen to violate campaign finance laws by paying off women who allegedly had sexual affairs with President Trump. That is a big deal. It is the first time the president's name has been directly connected to a potential criminal violation. Today, the president tried to dismiss it by calling the payoffs a, quote, simple private transaction, not a campaign contribution. And he says even if there was some sort of mistake, it was his lawyer, Michael Cohen's fault, not his. We also know Cohen lied to Congress about the timing and the scope of efforts to build a Trump property in guess where? Moscow. He says he did it to coordinate with the president's story, but we don't know if Trump directly told him to lie. We do know Cohen circulated his congressional testimony to the folks inside the White House, but we do not know whether he was trying to coordinate his story with other people. Cohen also admitted that he tried to build a closer political tie with Russia during the election, although it does not appear to have resulted in anything. Paul Manafort also lied about contacts with Russians. In his case, it was a suspected Russian intelligence operative. We also know he lied about keeping in touch with the administration officials throughout the beginning of this year. But again, we don't know why. In fact, the Washington Post reported that Russians interacted, pay attention to this, Russians interacted with at least 14 Trump associates during the campaign and presidential transition, according to interviews and public records. Unusual? Absolutely. But criminal? We just don't know at this point. And remember, what we learned from Michael Flynn, the former campaign aide and national security advisor to the president. Mueller's memo says he, quote, provided firsthand information about the content and context of interactions between the transition team and Russian government officials. And we know he's working with law enforcement on multiple investigations. But we know very little about what Flynn actually told Mueller or what those other investigations even address. Nevertheless, the president says, as far as he's concerned, everything is just fine.
On the Mueller situation, we're very happy with what we are reading because there was no collusion whatsoever. There never has been. The last thing I want is help from Russia on a campaign. But as far as the report that we see, according to everybody I've spoken to, I have not read it. There's absolutely no collusion, which is very important.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.